decrease in shoplifting. They were very pleased. Crime has gone down. Number 2, they found that drug usage in the neighborhoods surrounding the clinics also materially went down. Now wait a minute. If these people on the program are receiving pharmaceutical heroin at reduced rates, if anything, their usage is increased. We understand that. Why? Steady source of supply, less money, without all the vagaries of getting the money, finding your connection, and everything else. If anything, they're using more heroin. How could these people possibly say that drug usage in the neighborhood surrounding the clinics went down? But wait a minute. What do people do invariably to support their habits on the illegal market? Yes, burglaries and prostitutions, that's a given, but also invariably they go out and get extra amounts of their drugs and then they will sell them to you, your neighbors, people's children, in order to support their habits. Remember, they're off the program. As a result, you have fewer people selling drugs in the communities, fewer people using drugs in the communities. Drug usage has gone down. And by the way, these are the people that fill our prisons. They certainly do in California. I fully expect they do here in Missouri. And you get the law enforcement say, oh, no, we don't put marijuana users, we don't put cocaine users in prison, and that's right to, if you just keep it at that. But invariably, those people are selling small amounts of the drugs to support their habits. These are the people that fill our prisons. But no longer are they doing that in Switzerland. Drug usage in the neighborhood surrounding the clinics have gone down. Now, I don't care what people's views are. Morally, philosophically, religion, it doesn't matter. Everyone would agree. Everyone would agree. Crime going down, drug usage going down are good things. Yes?
Yes.
But third, they found that employment of these people on the programs went up by 50%. They're pretty much able to support themselves, support their families, get off the dole, pay their taxes. Why? They're pretty much able to lead normal lives. That's a good thing. The medical issues of these people are now being addressed. They're getting more healthy. Not only are they injecting drugs under less harmful circumstances, but also now they have a relationship with this medical team, and they're starting to address their other medical needs, and they always have them. The people are getting more healthy. And finally they found that drug treatment really expanded. That once these people started working up this relationship with this medical team, they had a good relationship with them, and they say, all right, doc, I trust you now. Take me the next step. Give me some drug treatment. So as we speak, these programs are now in Switzerland in every town or city where there's a need, permanently, at least until the year, to my knowledge, 2014. But there are always some people out there, kind of the moralism crowd. And what's their response? You can't do that. The government's now the pusher. It's immoral. We can't have that. And once people realize, yes, but people are getting better, crime is going down and stuff, they kind of back off that argument, but then they hit them with what they think is the knockout blow, which is, you've heard it before, but you're sending the wrong message to our children. Let me ask you, what's the right message? Because the message literally that we are selling to our children today is, go ahead and die. We know what the problem is. We could save you. We know what to do, but you fail our drug morality test. So we're not going to. So go ahead and get AIDS. Die of an overdose. Is that the message we want to send? And besides, I say, don't hide programs like this from our children. Take them there. Let them speak with these drug-addicted people. What do you think they're going to tell them? Oh, my son, my daughter, look at me. Oh, it's a good life. Follow my lead. You think that's what they're going to say? Hogwash. They're going to tell them the truth. Look at me. You know, I'm actually only 23 years old. I know I look like I'm in my upper 30s, but it's a hard life. You know, I got started, worst decision I ever made. You know, I went to a party, somebody gave me a free sample, thought it was cool. Whatever their circumstance, their story would be, they'll tell our young people, and that will be honest education. So I say, besides, No one can tell me that Swiss parents love their children any less than we do. But they have a program that's working. Let me ask you a question. Use your experience. Can any of you think of any reason whatsoever why we should not have similar programs in every town and city in our country where there's a need? Because I can't. Talk to your parents. Talk to your friends. Talk to your elected representatives. And just discuss this sort of thing. Let me tell you another story. Holland decriminalized drugs decades ago, early 1970s. Anybody 16 years of age or older today can go to a coffee house in Holland and get coffee, tea, sandwiches, marijuana, and hashish. No alcohol. The police find out you're doing alcohol, they'll close you down with great fanfare. No harder drugs, same deal. If you make a nuisance of yourself, hey, come on, you want some? No, they won't allow that. But you can get marijuana there. The Minister of Health of Holland held a press conference and said, quite a few years ago now, we only have half the marijuana consumption per capita in our country as you do in the United States of America. Listen to this, both for adults and for teenagers. Both for adults and for teenagers. And he went on to explain why. You know what he said? We have succeeded in making pot boring. There's a message there. We glamorize it by making it illegal, and we also glamorize it by having an absolutely obscene profit motive for you, our children, your neighbors, to sell. Let's de-glamorize it. Let's follow Holland's lead. They also, by the way, are no more tolerant of drug abuse than we are. But Holland, around the early 1990s, looked around and said, you know, 8% of the people in our country that are injecting illegal drugs have the AIDS virus, are HIV positive. And that's too much. We can do better than that. So they put in a program of needle exchange. Now you probably know what needle exchange is. It's the most elementary, straightforward medical approach that you can come up with. Somebody exchanges the dirty needle for a clean one. No money changes hands, no questions are asked, period. So they did that. In fact, they would take vans out into various drug-using areas of their communities and let somebody exchange a dirty needle for a clean one. You know, in our country and previously there, you go talk to a heroin-addicted person or somebody injecting illegal drugs, and I do this with some frequency, and they will tell you that it's easier for them to get their heroin or their cocaine than it is a clean needle. Isn't that stupid? So what happened in Holland? Within about 8 to 10 years, they found that the incidence of people encountering the AIDS virus has gone down by 50%. It's now about 4%. So AIDS, hepatitis, bloodborne diseases are reduced into half. I think that's a good thing, don't you? You want to know a crime? You want to know a major reason why I'm not at home tonight drinking a glass of wine with my wife and I'm here talking to you? You want to know what a crime is? Do you know what the percentage is in the United States of America of people that are using illegal injecting drugs that have the AIDS virus? 35%. 35% of our people who are in our country using illegal injecting drugs have encountered AIDS. That is unconscionable. It's a crime on our own people. I don't know if you have a needle exchange program here in Joplin, but if you don't, it's time that you do. All of the studies, any material study that has ever taken place in this subject has come out with the same result. Needle exchange programs do not increase drug usage. They don't decrease it either. They're pretty much neutral, but they do decrease bloodborne diseases by 50%. Universally. Centers for Disease Control, Yale University, all of these studies. It is a crime not to do this. And if that isn't enough, and unfortunately in my county, Orange County in California, which is a fairly conservative area, frequently that human message isn't enough, but I can get their attention too, because you know something? It costs taxpayers about $100,000 for every person in our country that gets AIDS. This is something that you can help us do. This is something that you must help us all do. is expand our needle exchange programs. So now, I am proud to say, my goodness, today is Wednesday, 3 weeks from yesterday, we're voting in California, November the 2nd, on Proposition 19. Proposition 19 is an initiative to treat marijuana like alcohol for adults in the state of California. I think it's probably one of the most important elections in my lifetime. This will be the beginning of the end of marijuana prohibition. If it passes in California, California leads the country in a lot of things, and as I say, some of them are good, but it will sweep the country. It's going to work. What would happen? Just think with me for a moment. What would happen in California or Missouri or anywhere else that you would pass legislation to treat marijuana like alcohol for adults? I have 6 things that would happen. The first 5 demonstrably beneficial almost immediately, then we'll talk about the 6th. The first thing that happens is in California, we as taxpayers would literally save hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion, that every year we spend of our tax money in a futile effort to eradicate marijuana as well as prosecute and incarcerate nonviolent marijuana offenders, sellers, or otherwise. That's hundreds of millions of dollars that now we are spending that we would no longer have to spend, we could keep. And by the way, you know how successful we are in this eradication? Once again, it's still the largest cash crop in our state. So that is lots of money that we can save. Number 2, we can tax the silly stuff, generate revenue of more, hundreds of millions of dollars. In this case, mostly of the cities, although anybody that would be involved on low bid contract by manufacturing, growing marijuana, manufacturing, packaging it, would then be spending, would actually be paying income taxes on that property, and the state would make some money too. So this is at least $1 billion to $1.5 billion that would change their budget deficits, either in the states, the counties, or the state. I think that's worth doing, but that's only a side benefit, because the major benefit would be, number 3, it would make marijuana less available for children than it is today. Now, most of you are a lot closer to being under 21 than I am, although I was actually under 21 for quite a few years in my life, believe it or not. But let me ask you, if you were under 21, or when you were under 21, what was harder for you to get, alcohol or marijuana, if you wanted to? If you wanted to, how many of you believe it was easier, I'll change the question, easier to get marijuana than alcohol? Why? Somebody's read my book. Stealing my thunder. You're right. The alcohol is regulated and controlled by the government, and the illegal marijuana is controlled by illegal marijuana dealers, and they don't ask for ID. And that's just straightforward. Ask young people under 21, that's what they'll tell you. If they want to get the marijuana, they can. They know where to go to get it. For heaven's sake, let's stop in this area and so many more. Let's stop moralizing about